Here we go again. Like clockwork, it happens every single time. They just can't help themselves. I've been saying it over and over, and somehow it keeps proving itself true. Aya Wilson wins Time Athlete of the Year, and instead of this being a clean, undeniable celebration of her greatness, Caitlin Clark's name gets dragged into it yet again. Let's be clear from the jump. Aya Wilson absolutely deserves the award. No debate. No hesitation. Her year was historic. But what should have been a moment entirely about her excellence somehow turned into another opportunity to diminish, downplay, and disrespect Caitlin Clark and the fans who have followed her journey. Time magazine dropped its Athlete of the Year announcement, naming Aya Wilson after an unbelievable season. And honestly, that part is deserved. Fully. But here's where things spiral. Instead of keeping the spotlight where it belonged, the article took several unnecessary and aggressive shots at Caitlin Clark. Not subtle ones either. They labeled her impact on the league as toxic and racially divisive, and then went even further by minimizing her role in the WNBA's recent growth. As if we all didn't just witness the same season with our own eyes. And the wildest part? Caitlin didn't clap back. No long statement. No defensive interview. No emotional post. She didn't argue a single word. Instead, she posted one simple Instagram photo, her on a golf course, captioned, "Playing other sports is so good for my mind and body." That was it. And somehow, that quiet response said more than any paragraph ever could. Before we get into why that mattered so much, let's rewind. This should have been Aya Wilson's victory lap. A year where everything aligned. She won her third MVP, adding her name to a list of all-time greats. She captured another championship with the Las Vegas Aces, proving again that she shows up when it matters most. She dominated on the Olympic stage, representing her country at the highest level and taking home tournament MVP. By every measurable standard, individual, team, and international. It was a legendary, record-breaking season. And yet, instead of letting that resume stand on its own, Time chose to prop her up by tearing someone else down. Fans immediately noticed. The backlash was fast and intense because people could see exactly what was happening. Entire sections of the article weren't about celebrating Aya, they were about reframing Caitlin Clark as a problem that needed to be corrected. Which is especially ironic considering Caitlin Clark was named Time Sportsperson of the Year just 1 year earlier. Then came the line that set everything on fire. The article stated, word for word, that Caitlin Clark's emergence created a toxic, racially divisive narrative that she was almost singularly responsible for salvaging a league whose foundation had been built by a mostly black player base. That's not interpretation. That's a direct quote. And it's unbelievable when you consider the context. Caitlin Clark has spent the entire past year doing the exact opposite of what that paragraph accuses her of. She has repeatedly, publicly, and unambiguously rejected those narratives. She has gone out of her way to praise the players who came before her. She's named Maya Moore as her favorite player growing up. She's talked about the league's history with respect in interview after interview. She has consistently said she does not want her name used as a tool for division. Time knows this. They asked her about it repeatedly in her own Sportsperson of the Year article. And yet, 1 year later, they turned around and inserted the very narrative she denounced into an article that wasn't even about her. That's where the frustration comes from. Aya Wilson is quoted in the piece saying, "Let's not lose the recipe. Let's not lose the history. It was erased for a minute." And on its own, that sentiment is understandable. The WNBA has a rich legacy built by incredible players who deserve recognition. That history matters. But here's the reality no one wants to say out loud. No one erased that history. No serious fan, analyst, or player has claimed the league didn't exist before Caitlin Clark. What people have said, and what the data overwhelmingly proves, is that Caitlin brought a level of attention the league had never seen before. Acknowledging that isn't disrespect. It's just reality. Before Caitlin entered the league, WNBA growth was steady but modest. Viewership hovered around 400,000 to 500,000 per game. Arenas were often half full. Jersey sales were limited. National media coverage was sparse. Then Caitlin arrived, and everything changed almost overnight. Games hit 2.5 million viewers. The Indiana Fever went from one of the least watched teams to the most watched team in the league. Arenas sold out across the country. Fans traveled hundreds of miles just to see her play. That isn't hype. That's measurable, undeniable growth. And when Caitlyn got injured and missed most of the season, viewership didn't dip slightly. It dropped by nearly 50%. That's not coincidence. That's impact. Even while sidelined, fans still showed up just to see her on the bench. They waited hours for autographs. They bought jerseys. They filled arenas. That star power that goes beyond basketball, and pretending otherwise doesn't protect history. It ignores reality. Which brings us back to Caitlyn's response. While the internet argued, dissected, and fought over every line of the article, she was on a golf course. Smiling. Living her life. No defensiveness. No bitterness. Just peace. And that's why it landed so hard. Because she didn't need to defend herself. The numbers already do that for her. When she plays, people watch. When she doesn't, they don't. It's that simple. Now, to be fair, Aya Wilson is a phenomenal player. One of the most dominant forces the league has ever seen. Multiple MVPs.